Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life, your business, health, fitness, mindset and body from where you are right now to where it is that you want to be. And today I want to talk to you about the topic of vulnerability. Is it a strength or a weakness? Now, I want to talk to you about this in the context of a little story because I find that stories work best in helping you reinforce some learning and relatability to your own life. So this particular part is around my own physical and health transformation. So I commenced my training 33 years ago, my physical training, and I was coming from a place of being fully clothed in jeans, jumping on the scales in the gym with the owner of the gym, and I was 50 kilos fully clothed. And he's like, wow, there's not much of you. And I said, yeah, well, that's exactly why I'm here. And my goal was to put on 10 kilos in 10 weeks because I read this article, an editorial about this gym from one of their success stories. And that is what got me into that gym. And so I did. I put on 10 kilos in 10 weeks. And then that's what really got me addicted to training and what it was that I could do with my body through lifting weights and through eating the right foods and achieving those particular goals. Now, when I first started training, my goal was I wanted to become a bodybuilder. I wanted to compete. I wanted to, be on stage and do those things. But after a number of years of training, I realized that, wow, how was I ever going to dedicate the time to the training? Because at that time, I would do it differently now. Well, I am doing it differently now. But at that time, I figured that you needed to be training hours and hours in the gym a day, eating crazy amounts of food, and then do some crazy dieting, which I didn't know how to do at that time in order to strip off the weights and everything, the fat off the body. And it was also at a time when I was studying to become a chartered accountant. And I just started with Coopers & Lybrand on a graduate program, and my work schedule was really busy. I'd moved from a country town in Bendigo, Central Victoria, down to Melbourne, where I live now. And it just felt like I wasn't going to be able to do that as well. And to top that off, I was also I was playing the bagpipes. That's a whole other podcast. But I used to play the bagpipes, and I was playing for the Victoria Police Pipe Band here in Melbourne, and that was so I could go to the World Championships in Glasgow in 1990. And so we went over there in 1990. So I had all of this stuff going on, and I thought, man, how am I going to become a bodybuilder and compete and diet and do all those things when it really needs to be pretty much your sole focus? So I just put it on the back burner. And then because of just my career and everything, I thought, look, if I never step on stage, that's okay. Basically, I made up a story for myself as to why I couldn't get there. Now, we come forward 32 years, so last year, and I went through the process of saying, do you know what? This is what I want to do. And I got thinking about why didn't I ever properly pursue, say, being on stage? And I thought, I can think of a number of reasons why, but here's the number one. And that was when I was younger, so when I was like 11, 12, 13, I was bullied at school. Now, I say that not to have you feel sorry for myself, but I have you feel sorry for me. I tell you because from that age, I had a really low self-esteem. And, people would pick on me. I was small. People would hurt me. And it didn't make me feel good. And so what did I never want? I didn't want people to pick on me. I didn't want people to make fun of me because that's normally what happened. So what I had made this story up, what if I get on stage and people laugh? Because I'm way smaller than everybody else. I know that I'm going to get on stage and I'm going to be physically shorter than everybody else. I'm most likely going to have smaller muscles than everybody else, just because everybody, if they're taller, they've naturally got more muscle in their body, and maybe I'll make a fool of myself. That was the story that I made up for myself. And I thought, I don't want to put myself in that position. I love my training, but I don't have to get on stage. And that's true, I don't have to get on stage. But that was also stopping me from achieving my best self. So in 2020, I said, okay, I need to become vulnerable to become stronger. And what that means is that I need to be prepared to risk it all. And I need to be prepared to get on stage in front of 5,000 people at the Isagenix celebration, which ended up having to be cancelled. There's one later in the year. But I need to be vulnerable in that position, because if I want to become a finalist and be my best self and have a six-pack and the best body that I've ever had in my life, that's what I have to visualize. And I have to start taking lots and lots and lots of photos every single week of me standing there in my undies and nothing else, tanned up, flexing my muscles, trying to make sure that I looked as good as I could. Now, if I look back to the early photos, or even photos years ago, like I've come across photos that are like 10, 12 years old, and I'm like, man, I look so much better now than I did then. But I convinced myself back then that I looked really good, because I thought that was all I was capable of. But step into these last 18 months, and it's, how long's it been? Well, it's about 12 months. It's like, wow, look what you can do with focus. And if you say, well, yes, I'm going to make myself vulnerable. I need to submit these photos. I need people to see it. So I need to put my best foot forward, because you can't hide anything. So, I mean, you can't suck in your tummy and just have a six-pack. It doesn't work that way. You've got to have such a low body fat and, in order to be able to see the six-pack. So that was the decision that I made. I said, I need to become vulnerable. I need to accept the fact that I'm going to be vulnerable. And in that process, that provided me with the fuel and energy to work damn hard to achieve what it is that I wanted to achieve, because I didn't want to fail. Because that's what we're scared of, isn't it? We're scared of failing, scared of being lesser of a person than we think we should be, and fearing rejection of others, not being accepted. So at the time of you listening to this, you'll be able to go to my Facebook page and find an article that I've written under my Rob Evans page. You'll find it under my other business pages as well, where I'm talking about this very topic: vulnerability. Is it a strength or a weakness? I'm going to put my story in there. I'm going to put some pictures in there as well. And it's only because I decided to become vulnerable in this space that I've stepped up enormously in the way that I live my life, my own physical health and fitness. Now, it doesn't mean that I was unhealthy before. No, what I've done is I've just fine-tuned some of the things to reduce my body fat, to build muscle, and to be laser-like focused on exactly what it is that I want. And that's what I haven't done before. But it came about because I've made myself vulnerable. So if you haven't picked it up by now, I believe that if you make yourself vulnerable, it's a strength, it's not a weakness. Because you can see, oh, well, if you're vulnerable, that's being weak. But if you're vulnerable, what that means is if you can be strong enough to handle whatever comes your way because of who you're going to become on that journey through vulnerability, that is going to produce the best possible outcome for you. So 12 months ago, I just decided that I need to become very, very clear in this space. I'm sick and tired of playing a small game. I work in this industry. I have been so passionate about it for the last 33 years now. I've been doing it as my profession for the last 12 years, full time, making a great business of it, helping changed thousands of lives around the world, and probably more than I even know that I've impacted. But I also said, in me taking off my shirt and putting it on social media, maybe there is also someone else out there, maybe who is a dad or just a guy that is in their 50s. Maybe they're a single dad, and I know single dads get beaten up a lot for a variety of different reasons, and feel like they're not living their best self, not being the best dad that they could possibly be, not having the body that they perhaps always wanted to have, and using that image to inspire people in a different way than I do with my words. Because, you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. If I can put that picture out there with my story, then people can see, wow, if you can look like that at your age, then I can look like that at my age too. I just need to follow the steps to get there. And that is so true. So I also attached that aspect to it. And then I thought about the female clients that I have, because most of my clients are females. I thought, well, maybe they can see that, like most of my clients are younger than me. I've got some that are older, but most of them are younger than me. They can see, wow, look how young you can look how your body can look if you really take care of it, if you do the exercises that I tell you to do, if you eat the way that I tell you you should eat, then you too can have the results like I have. And you don't have to go, if you think what I do is extreme, you don't have to be that focused and go to the level that I do. You don't have to have the six-pack. You might just want to have a flat, slim, sexy-looking body, man or female. You could just want that. You just want more toned. You want to feel better, have more confidence in your body. That's fine. It doesn't make you right and me wrong or vice versa. It's just what you want. And I've just chosen to have a higher level of health and fitness for me, because I was sick and tired, as I said before, of living the small game in a space where I am a recognized authority. I want to have the body that if somebody said, "I'll take your shirt off and let's see your six-pack," that I can say, okay, I've got the confidence to do that. I can do that. And all of that has come by me just accepting the vulnerability of what may happen if I do take off my shirt. It means that I'm strong enough to be able to handle whatever comes my way, because I've become this unstoppable version of myself because I know what I'm capable of. And you may have heard me say this before, but I love the metaphor of transforming your body, transforming your health as a metaphor to life. Because if you can change this, if you can harness the key components of your food and your training and do it consistently over and over and over, and you can have the health, the energy, the focus, the vitality, the strength, being pain-free, having that sexy body. If you can do all that, then I believe you can do anything. If you see somebody that is strong, healthy, I'll give you another good example in that space. On the weekend here in Australia, we have this thing called the Ironman series, which is basically guys and girls in their togs. They run along the beach, they swim, they do paddleboard, and then I think they do like a ski leg, something like that. And you see these guys and girls, and they're unbelievably fit. Like, to be able to get out in the ocean and swim and do those things that they do, like, it's really impressive. I'm really impressed by it. But how do they perform at that top level? Never mind just being able to do it once, they do it over and over and over. How do they do it? Well, they practice over and over and over. And to become great at anything, you don't just bang, go out there and do it, and you're just great at it. That's very unlikely. You have to practice it. You have to be good at it. Look at some of the greatest athletes in the world, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. But go and have a look at the way that they started out. Not great, but look at the way that they ended, and that's what matters. And if you understand the work ethic that has gone into who they were and who they became in that journey along to where they ended up, to become the greatest athletes in the world, they worked so hard, relentless work ethic, practicing doing those things that they needed to do every single day. So what is the space for you where you need to become more vulnerable? Maybe it's in your health and fitness. Maybe it's in your business. Maybe it's in your relationships. Now there's a tough one. Your intimate relationships, maybe you need to become more vulnerable. And what does that mean? Well, maybe that means that you need to be opening up to your partner, allowing them to provide you with feedback about what's going on in your relationship, the role that you play in the relationship, and being vulnerable to accept what it is that comes your way. And some people don't like that. Some people don't like to be told things. You're too much of this, or you're too little of that, or you don't do this for me, or you don't step up when I need you, or whatever it is for people. Relationships are super tricky. But if you become vulnerable in that space and you are, what does that mean? Well, it means that you need to be able to empathize. It means that you need to be an active listener. You need to be able to just take it all in and know that in being vulnerable, that is being strong, to be able to know whatever your partner throws at you, you can handle it. That doesn't mean it's not going to hurt, but it means that you can handle it and you can work through it and you can achieve anything together. So I'm sure there are areas in your life where you could be more vulnerable. And if you start to see vulnerability as a strength, then you may start to find something within you shifts, because that's what it did for me massively over this last 12 months, or 12 months ago. Just by saying, I'm going to be vulnerable in this space, that opened up my eyes, my mind, my heart, my world to having the best health, fitness and body that I've ever had in my entire life. And I continue that journey into this year, where I'm determined to make sure that I do exactly the same thing this year, except better. My focus is exactly the same. Well, maybe my focus is a little better, but my goals are more defined, more specific, and I'm more driven than ever. All because I chose to be vulnerable. If you want to have a conversation with me and connect so that we can talk about where you maybe need to be more vulnerable, or where it is that you need some help, go to thementaltoughnessandbodyshow.com, opt in for a free consultation, and that's how we can start the conversation. Stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow.